Hola a todos, hoy es Concaf Gamer y estamos en un nuevo video, nuevo video de Genshin Impact. Continuamos con el modo historia. Pequeño resumen. Estuvimos en el teatro para ver la presentación, la obra de Linet y Linet, pero surgió un pequeño gran contratiempo y es que alguien murió. Una persona desapareció y lo que nos toca resolver es el misterio detrás de la desaparición de esa persona. Ok, ahora lo que nos pide es esperar el juicio del día siguiente. Muy bien. Listo, ok. Vamos al juicio entonces. Wow, qué bonito, Analizada de destrucción cardenalicia. Ok, se viene lo bueno. Yo creo que ya estamos cerca de lo que sería el final de la primera parte de la misión. No se preocupen, yo pues voy a dedicarme a subir todo lo que pueda de Pompeii, dando misiones. Cállate. Tanto misiones secundarias como exploración, si así lo desean, déjenme en los comentarios. Pero lo que sí voy a subir sí o sí va a ser la historia principal y las misiones secundarias de Fontaine. Ok, ahora sí, me callo y empecemos con el trama.
Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another. Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least besides, I doubt Farina understands anymore. Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Si ustedes no han visto el capítulo anterior, les recomiendo que lo vean porque si no se van a estar spoileando. Ahora sí, ya no interrumpo más.
Now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most...
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina.
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any...
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically
Huh?
Hey, hang on!
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely...
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from...
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably...
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is... The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting. Oh, good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived their own attorneys.
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little...
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah, sorry.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad!
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right, let's hear your answer first, and no lies now!
Of course. I'll answer any question you... We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the...
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room, which should have been impossible, of course, I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to...
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust, but like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave...
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly. If we want to refute the Hydro Archonte's accusations, we're gonna need... Huh?
Como era de esperar, había un tercero como nadie lo sospechaba. Y evidentemente, Lini no sabe nada.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue...
That took long enough. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Uy, qué arrogante. Ah, no puede ser.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Hall. He did not realize that the sound could be heard. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out. Before at this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel. Having heard that Linny proceeded to knock afterward. Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his... And there you have it.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events.
Este es cierto, este es cierto. Viene secuestra a Halsey, no puede ser. No, es que sería. Ok, muy bien. Cowell sorprendió a Linney con las manos cerradas, así que este golpe con el que dejó todas apuntan de que cuando Linney volvió a iniciativa, pero lo único que vio fue... Ay, Dios, es que estoy...
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon. When the countdown started, Linney did indeed, but he immediately used a vent to access the opera house. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in which the crime scene had already developed by the time he reached... Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when...
Creo que ya ha salido bien, ¿no? Let's go. Me callo.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Wasn't it awesome?
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say new disappearance case.
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell them!
And that's why they're partners of mine. Oh, well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. But, of course I do. If he had been in the magic box, you're saying that he wasn't?
Ya, como sea.
That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof!
Well played. To think you'd use such logic.
Es una niña y no otra cosa.
Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Ah, puede ser. Los fuegos artificiales explotando cuando se iba a terminar de tomar la cura que es. Ya,
The deceased's name is Cowl.
vamos a ver. Era Corwin. O sea, Corwin se mató.
That can't be...
Oh, is that
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as... The deceased's name is Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel.
No, lo hace usted, sí, lo hace usted mal. Ah, ok.
It would have been tough for both.
Ok. Ok, nos estamos pegando una fumadota impresionante.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble?
I see.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not, just like the trick as it transpired,
If only we knew how
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very... And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person...
Excuse my
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowl.
¿Cierto?
The vase was not broken by chance.
Ah, ok. El jarro.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually. If there's a similar method where a person...
How could a person ever be transformed into water? Must we really? Magic tricks are ultimately just...
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't...
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained
Esta
schemes
niña.
at the end of their rope.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, guards, please step into the lounge and examine.
Okay, okay.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water.
The primordial sea.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had... The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appeared. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact,
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving...
Could something so ridiculous actually...
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but...
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Se pone bueno.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's person... Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit guards. Please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please...
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues...
Right! Like the metal hook! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water...
The deceased's name is Cowell. The rope that held the water I remember there was...
Joder, macho. Sigamos.
It's Ace Detective Paimons! In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down, and afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being... But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same...
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the...
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent...
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related...
On that note, the guards have just contacted me. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage, and we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's...
What?
That can't be. Does this not clear all doubt, my dear citizens? Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave this, having made modifications to the props beforehand. His accomplice, but upon his return, in cruel ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straight... Am I right, Miss...
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the road?
Nah.
Oh no! Paimon can't think of... Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
I think we we've all seen enough now. I believe this is indeed... Now then, my good, noble chief.
Excuse me, everyone, but...
Miss, I must ask you not to shout. And
Ya,
to
porque de la nada,
respect
qué
the ongoing
corrupto.
legal
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared. What in the world?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting us. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette. Give it another go. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think
I understand.
And voila.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, then I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me. And that...
that'll teach you to underestimate...
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cap...
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian. And I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller. But that's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there.
La ladrona de la primera misión, no me friegues.
I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty...
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee. But then I got water poured on me for no reason. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him in. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire
¿Cómo? Tras conocer a los NES de entrar en el túnel, salió todo el conducto de ventilación desde que el encontrar contradicho.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was... The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up. Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed
And it's Ace Detective time! Having been selected out of the blue, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt it. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her, mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but with no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume truck.
Qué difícil son estos los juicios.
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped two of them.
At this point, all the events that...
Ah, so that's the... Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you... Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution...
What? Are you reading my mind? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again... The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, select with some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause... He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young... When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightened. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian, realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian, thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within... From this reconstruction of events, we can... While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated, this case, at least, can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision.
Okay, a ver.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation. How did you find the water from the primordials?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know.
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become... Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek...
Yes! Our boss discovered that the water can cause... It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
A correr. ¿O no?
So, we're just going back now? That's true.
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Linny.
I know you may not want to speak to me right now, but still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, I guess. But regardless, I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, as for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of... That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was back when our parents first died. Lynette, to survive, I took to surreptitiously observing I took my sister through several streets until to my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular. And before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after what.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like.
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate would, but I gradually discovered that while we were called foster, he would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner it.
That doesn't seem too bad either.
It took a while. After one particular performance at a banquet, I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet.
Oh no. But what if
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person. All I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood. And
So, she'd already taken.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm. Father, I mean, the knave, might have. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, I was hesitant to trust her, but she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Sarita to first use the Gnosis' power once she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes.
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are to us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic
It's alright. I understand. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the house, I have never stopped. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Bye, Linny.
Creo que ya aquí termina la misión, ¿no? Yo creo que sí. Ah, suma. Otra vez. Ay, Dios.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who've been... And given that there's new evidence from the trial...
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm sorry.
Don't say that, Navia.
Oh, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope. Sorry about that. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal?
Huh? Do we really need to get that?
Well, I'd just like to have... Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist my arm.
Oh, wonderful.
All right, then.
Ya terminó. ¿Qué desbloqueé? Ahora te toca. Let's go. Dios. ¿Qué? ¿Qué? What? Bueno. Yo creo que por tiempo y por descanso yo creo que de aquí dejaré el video de hoy. Espero que les haya gustado. Si es así, suscríbanse, por favor. Denle like, compartan el video. Nos vemos hasta la próxima. Soy Concaf Games. Bye bye.